Wakizashi's Tea House. Ohayou gozaimasu, minasan. Good morning. This is Gray from Wakizashi's Tea House over in Japan. How are you doing? Are you good? Are you genki? Are you having a good weekend? I had a great weekend. It's Monday here, Monday morning. I've got a rare day off, so making the most of it by doing a little bit of a live stream. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Great to see you in the chat. There's Nosferatu, I see you there. Stephen Ransom, how you doing? Roman of the Empire, good to see you. Now, like many people out there, this is probably my most favourite film, my favourite film of all time. It's one of those where, you can't get enough of it. How many times have you watched it? How many times have you just got lost in that world? Now, the story behind Bladerunner for me is I was 9 years old when the movie came out. It was released back in 1982, and an incredible release weekend. John Carpenter's The Thing came out the same day. So you had The Thing and Blade Runner, two, classic now, but they weren't at the time, two classic sci-fi movies, and they were defeated by the unstoppable force that was Spielberg's E.T. Apparently E.T. was in the middle of its run then, so Blade Runner and The Thing kind of just died off and didn't get success until later, thanks to video, VHS video, and then later on DVD. So yeah, but I remember the first time I saw it probably was on TV back in the UK when I was a teenager. I remember my big brother, I recommended it. He said, you got to watch this movie, it's really good. It might be a little bit confusing for you, but it's a great film. So I did. I remember sitting down watching it on my TV up in my room, a little tiny colour TV, and I might not have understood what was going on for the whole movie, but I was just blown away. Just something about it just pulled me right in. I was lost in the world. That world building is unsurpassed. What do you think? Amazing visuals, incredible soundtrack, one of the best soundtracks that matches a movie, the feel and the look of a movie, I think, in all time, you can argue. Vangelis, however you say. Oh mate, I had a pirate copy of that soundtrack because it wasn't officially released for years. There was some kind of weird problem over rights, and I had a cassette tape version of it. It was supposed to be, an official release, but because I bought it in HMV. But anyway, yeah, I used to play that cassette all the time. Man, that soundtrack. So that introduced me to Vangelis, and then I got into Jean-Michel Jarre later through that. But anyway, digressing. So what I want to do with this live stream to celebrate Blade Runner's 40th anniversary, 40 years. So if you saw it in the cinema, wow, how do you feel now, 40 years later? Mamma mia, I can't believe it. I think at that age, I only remember seeing two movies around that time. Dune, the original Dune. Dune came out, David Lynch version, and I was really psyched up for that. It got a later release in the UK, so I saw that just after Christmas, I think, in 82, I think it was. And I remember going to see E.T. with a group of friends as well. So, but yeah, no idea about Blade Runner. I had no idea who Philip K. Dick was. I've since read the book 3 or 4 times. I've got a review on my WordPress blog. It's a little bit of an old review now. It's back in 2016. I was doing a Philip K. Dick themed year of reviewing 12 of his books. Excuse me. So I was going to read from this on this review, but I tell you what, this is not really a review. It's more going to be a deep dive and just me talking about the first third of the movie. I was going to try and cover it all, but there's no way, is there? I've been watching the movie this morning, getting in the mood and taking screenshots, and it was getting ridiculous. It's how many screenshots are you going to take, Ray? So anyway, so I see you guys in the chat. You fantastic. Thanks for joining me for this. I'm sure you've got your own stories about Blade Runner, your own memories of it, which version you've seen. So let's get onto that. Let's get onto the versions. I just want to share screen from, where are we? Versions of Blade Runner from Off-World. The Blade Runner wiki. Now, I wasn't aware of this. I knew there was at least 3 or 4, but apparently since post-production, 7 versions of the film have been known to exist for various reasons. 5 versions have been widely seen. Now, I'm going to focus on the final cut, which is the version I've been watching, the version I've got. But, of course, the first version I saw was the original, the theatrical cut, which had Harrison Ford's kind of deadpan narration on it, which I did like at the time, and I do like to rewatch that So I don't know what your thoughts about the narration. I heard from Roman. Roman was saying he loved it, and Eric Sullivan was talking about it. He likes the original version with the narration, the kind of PI, the Marlowe. What is it? I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's a real noir detective, pulp detective, like Pulp Fiction feel to it. But there were rumours that Ford, well, not rumours, but he said he wasn't happy with the narration, and Ridley Scott weren't happy with having to do it. But according to the test screenings, people were like, scratching their heads. They couldn't understand it. It's a very smart film, and it's a very deep film, very philosophical film, and of course, beautifully visual film, sexy, violent, and exciting. But anyway, where was I? So, as I say, I'm going to focus on the final cut. I know everyone's got their favourite versions, but yeah. So, let me get back to the stream. Stop sharing that. Okay. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm still kind of trying to get my head around this streaming business. I did a stream last night on Usagi Yojimbo, enjoyed that, trying to spread some love for Usagi, but this is the big one. This is the one I've been wanting to talk about, and I'd love to have people on. What I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to do these kind of deep dives. It might take 3 parts, and then let's have a big panel. Let's do a big talk on the whole movie. Just get everybody on and talk about it, tell what our favourite parts are, things that we might have missed, or things that we love about it. So yeah. Oh, I've got a comment from Salty. Salty's asking, are you live? I am live, and I am alive. Alive, she cried. I am. Good to see you, mate. I've got a rare Monday off, Salty. So, okay, now, as Roman says, yeah, Wrath of Khan came out in 82 too. That's right, Conan the Barbarian, Wrath of Khan was out. There was a load of great releases. It was an incredible year for cinema in 1982. But as I say, I'm going to focus on Bladerunner. So, it's great to see you all in the chat. Thanks, I really appreciate you watching. And here we go. Let's see if I can share. So the film, how does it start? Man, even the first note of music, man, it just gets me every time. Okay, let's share that. Here we go. So, after the deep bass boom, is it like a drum sound? The drum bass drops and you hear... Well, you don't hear it, you just hear this Vangelis's weird soundtrack in the background. It's very electronic. It sounds a bit like a siren, but it's not. And we read, early in the 21st century, the Tyrell Corporation advanced robot evolution into the Nexus phase. A being virtually identical to a human, known as a replicant. The Nexus 6 replicants were superior in strength and agility, and at least equal in intelligence to the genetic engineers who created them. Replicants were used off-world as slave labour in the hazardous exploration and colonisation of other planets. After a bloody mutiny by a Nexus 6 combat team in an off-world colony, replicants were declared illegal on Earth under penalty of death. Special police squads, Bladerunner units, had orders to shoot to kill, upon detection, any trespassing replicant. This was not called execution. It was called retirement. Man, what an opening crawl. That is just unbelievable. Also, do you like the Japanese subtitles down the side of the screen? Yeah, I can't remove them on the version I've got. It's crazy. I took screenshots from the digital version I've got. I had a DVD, but I didn't have time to set that up. So, of course, we open the famous Los Angeles, November 2019, which is crazy to think that's 3 years ago now. Oh, God. This opening scene, again, the music kicks in. You got the synth, the feeling, my heart was racing. Just rewatched it this morning. It happened again. I got the chills up the back of my spine. You see the flames booming out of the chimneys. This crazy dystopian, dark industrial landscape. Just an amazing set, amazing look. Apparently, Ridley Scott was influenced by what he saw in Osaka when he came, I think when he was landed at the airport and he was being driven. You have to take a drive. The Osaka airport is out on the sea. It's crazy. It's like reclaimed land on the sea. So you come down, land on the sea, and then you take this long bridge over the sea, the water, to get to the main land. And he got this view of some kind of, industrial factory, maybe a metalworks. I think he later used it in Black Rain. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, that's apparently what inspired this opening scene. Then we have one of the first views of eyes. Eyes are so important to this music. They keep popping up. There's deeper meaning to eyes. I love this where you see the flame, like it's going up, it's reflected in his eye, and all the lights, you can see the city lights. It's amazing. It looks like you can see a world in that eye. You know, it's quite a trippy visual. What always got me as a teenager watching it was how bloodshot, how bloodshot the white of the eye looked. That always just kind of freaked me out. It's like, oh man, you know, he looks like he's maybe sick, or maybe it's the day after the night before. You know what I'm saying? So we see this, one of the spinners, one of the cars, maybe it's a police car, approaching the Tyrell Corporation, the Tyrell building. Again, this is an actual model. I think it was Sid Mead, wasn't it? Was it Sid Mead and Anton Furst who were the visual futurists, the visual designers of the movie? Just incredible looking model. It looks real. It looks like a huge, not city block. What's the word? Got like memories of Mega City 1 from Judge Dredd from 2000 AD, but just incredible building, the attention to detail, all the lights there. I tell you, man, CG and practical effects. I know CG can be good when you're trying to, visualize impossible things, but for me, the practical effects in Bladerunner and John Carpenter's The Thing, 1982, 40 years ago, unsurpassed. Fight me. Okay, so we get our first look at Holden, Detective Holden, who is a Blade Runner, and here we go with Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's beautiful lighting. It's kind of dark, it's dim. There's always smoke there. You notice that in so many scenes. He loves using smoke. It's such a visual aid, and a weird kind of bluey green look to the lighting there. You see that reflected on the computer screen. Of course, very early computers, that can't be helped, but I still think it sets it in time. It makes it look like this is a world, this is an alternate world, maybe an alternate dimension where, this really happened. As you can tell, this film means a lot to me. And then we get a view from outside, and even this, look, you can tell it's a model, but the detail on it, look at it, it's beautiful. You've got is it 1, 2, 3, 4, like 8 rooms there. The fans are spinning when you see it in motion. Got reflections off the screen. Look at that. It's like, it takes me back to painting miniature figures, back in the D&D days, Dungeons and Dragons, and painting figures and trying to get this amazing look. Beautiful, beautiful detail. And then we get our first introduction to one of the replicants, which in the book, in Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, they're called Andys. Androids, yeah? Andys for short. Replicants were brought in for this movie, and also the title Blade Runner. From what I was reading, I'm not quite sure about this, but I think it was used. Was it Ridley Scott got it from an untreated screenplay by William Burroughs? Again, I'm not sure about this. This is what I've read. It's not sure how true it is, and it was Blade Runner, a movie treatment. That was just the title of whatever he'd written, and he loved that title. Ridley Scott, he saw it, it's like Blade Runner, that's cool. So he got it from that, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. And so we get this awesome face, this incredible actor. Is it Brian James? What a face! What an a distinctive look. Leon Kowalski. And Holden's asking him questions, and here we go again with the smoke. You see lots of cigarette smoking. Blade Runner always makes me want to go and have a smoke, because it makes smoking look so cool. I know it's ridiculous. I know, I'm very impressionable, but where you see it, especially with Holden doing it, and later on Sean Young as Rachel when she's smoking, Ridley Scott lights it so beautifully that it makes it, it's the best commercial for smoking and for drinking later, I think, out there. But again, I'm digressing. So what did you think of the questions that Holden's asking to Leon? Trying to provoke an emotional response, trying to see if the pupil reacts, if it dilates or whatever. It's cool. And I love his voice in this, Holden. He's got a great voice. Then there's a classic line. I was watching is it Dangerous Days? Like the making of Blade Runner, where they're talking to the screenwriter. Is it Hampton Fancher or Hampton Fincher? No, Fancher, I think. Got a weird name, and he was talking to somebody, maybe it was David Peoples, and whoever he was talking to said to Hampton, the screenwriter, "Oh man, I love this line. This is one of my favourite lines in the movie." And Hampton's like, "What are you talking about?" "Let me tell you about my mother. bang, and that was it. It's like, whoa, he loved that line for some reason. But it's cool, it's iconic. And Leon just like blows the shit out of Holden, doesn't he? You see it in slow motion. It passes through what looks like a coffee flask. There's things like blowing up, exploding. It hits the Holden. It knocks him flying backwards. His chair spins round. He shoots again, and boom, he knocks him through the wall. That's a powerful gun, isn't it? Okay. Now we have this beautiful outside scene, the cityscape, which again, I know, to me it looks real, it looks better than CG. Yes, maybe CG can make it look more, detailed, more vivid, but the practical effects, they're just mind-blowing. I wonder if it was subliminally, it was this image here that got me interested in Japan when I was young. Just saying, I thought she was so beautiful. I don't know who she was, this actress, and you're hearing like a mixture of Chinese and Japanese. It's weird. You see lots of kanji. There's Chinese kanji and Japanese kanji. They both use the same kind of kanji, but the meanings are different. But it's cool seeing, like, for example, there's graffiti everywhere when you get down into the city streets. You see kanji graffiti. It's so weird. It's all the little details. The little dragon over here on the side of the building. You can see Off-World, the Pan Am building. Man, I say I'm obsessed with this movie. Okay, so we see the Off-World colony ship flying. Look at that. I love that. Was it a chance to begin again in a golden opportunity to begin again in a world of opportunity? Oh, I've totally lost it, but man, I should have these quotes pulled up. But that always looked cool. That ship looked real to me. It was like, wow, look at this coming down. Advertising, going off-world, because what's happened in this world, I think World War Terminus it was called in the book, in PKD's book, which they don't talk about it, but there'd been a big world war, and you can tell, it's a mess. There's ash everywhere. You see it as kind of snow. I think you see it more in the sequel in Bladerunner 2049, but it's supposed to be like ash drifting everywhere because of this huge war. People stuck on Earth, like they're trying to get off, but the people who can't go to the off-worlds, they've got some kind of problems, or they choose to stay on Earth. But yeah, again, fantastic visuals, great little details with the street stalls and the restaurant signs there at the bottom. And we get our first view of Deckard, Harrison Ford. And in the original theatrical cut, you hear him voicing over, don't you? It's a great, great scene. What was it? They don't advertise for killers in a newspaper. Something like that. The line that always stuck in my head was cold fish. That's what my ex-wife always used to call me, something, when he's eating the sushi later on. But how iconic was Harrison Ford look in this movie? Apparently there was a bit of a reaction at the time by, I don't know if it was a director or people involved with the movie, because his haircut freaked them out. They were used to the Harrison Ford, like Han Solo look to him. Indiana Jones was after this, I think it was, wasn't it? And then he got his hair cut pretty short, and they were like, oh my god, what have you done? But I think it really suits him in this. It's a great cut. I tried to get that cut myself. Like, I took this photo into to a hair salon once. Like, can you make me look like this? Sorry, we can't work miracles. So he goes to this food stall, and the Japanese guy, or maybe Chinese, I'm not sure, but he's speaking Japanese, and I never used to understand what he was saying. Because if you remember the scene, Harrison Ford, he asked for 4. And the guy behind the counter's like saying, no, 2. And what he says, now I can understand it because there's no subtitles. He basically says, 2 is enough. Futatsu wa juben da yo. 2 is enough. You don't need 4. But Harrison's like, no. Deko's like, no, 4. And noodles. And then this guy, okay, sit down and wait a moment, and serves him. And then we get our introduction to another iconic character, Edward James Olmos, looking deadly. Look at that hat. Look at his coat there, his leather coat, collar turned up, bow tie. Just brilliant. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, I'm just going on a total waffle. Let me come back to the stream, see who's here. Anybody there? No spoilers. Kids are in the chat, says Stephen Ransom. I can't help it. I'm going deep dive, mate. I'm going through it. OBG70, nice to see you, man. The music, primarily saxophone, does a great job at making us feel sad, depressed. We are to feel the way people feel. Yeah, the music, the soundtrack, the saxophone, the guitar, the synth, the electronic sounds to it. It's, as I was saying earlier, it's one of the best match up to visuals and soundtrack I think ever done. So good. Nosferatu says, yeah, just like my ex-wife, cold fish. Cool, great to see you guys. Oh wait, Whooper's here. Nice to see you, Whooper. This movie's got a lot of glitches like Cyberpunk. Yeah, I know. Lots of errors, but I'll tell you what, mate, for me, you can't fault it. Fantastic. And can anyone drop it in the chat? I'm doing a stream. I've got Stream Brain. I've gone blank on his character. Is it Gats? Not Gats. That's the Japanese manga anime, isn't it? Oh my God, I can't remember Edward Jones almost his name, but there we go. Gray's riffing. He's in the zone. He's making sweet, sweet love to Bladerunner. Says Salty Texas C. Thanks, Salty. Great to see you, mate. Yeah, I tell you, this is going to be a proper waffle. So I'll see you in the chat, guys. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to address everything, but I'm just going to go for it with this. So here we go. Yeah, I love it the way he speaks his kind of weird city speak. It's a mix of Chinese, Japanese, Spanish, I don't know, Esperanto, all sorts. And Deckard pretends he can't understand it. He asks the counter guy, you know, what's he talking about? He say you Blade Runner. That's cool. Remember that. Now, again, I'm going to go too deep, otherwise we'll be here for like 20 hours. But Deckard goes with Gans, help me guys, to the police car. And again, look at this detail here. Just clipped it from the film. You got the vid phone with a PHON. There's no E there. Someone's using the phone. Umbrellas everywhere because it's this incessant rain. The like neon light stick, the handle of the umbrellas, the parasols. I love that little detail. Look closely at the pillar there and you can see there's two images on the pillar. Is it projected? Is it like a poster? Is it advertising something? Is it reflection? So cool. Just getting lost in it. And of course the ever-present smoke and mist, which is all the way through the movie. So they get in the spinner, and I used to love this. I didn't understand what it meant when I first saw it as a kid. I was just like, purge, but I just love the word. You know, it's not like take off or launch. It's purge. How dope is that? What a great word. They purge and then they just take off, and the music kicks in. Vangelis' soundtrack. You know, you've got chills at the back of your spine again. You see the spinner lifting off, and again, you get a look at this incredible model cityscape, which just looks real. You know, is it just me? It's not just me, is it, guys? It looks real. It looks physical. It's got a presence. It's got an atmosphere. It's got a character, just like the way they did Gotham City in the latest Batman movie. Finally, you know, Gotham's got a character. What? Is it Los Angeles? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And that's changed from the book. I think it was San Francisco in the book. Just going back to that, but yeah. I'll tell you why I'm on a complete and utter like spazzy stream of consciousness waffle. I'm on iced coffee. I've been drinking coffee since early this morning, so apologies for that. Again, just to focus on this, a beautiful view of the building from above. You can see again the Japanese actress in the screen at the bottom. There's the Pan Am sign. It just looks real. It's physical. Yeah, you can tell the little lights, light windows are just like LED lights, whatever, but hey man, I'm there, I'm in this world. And we see the police spinner coming to land on the rooftop, so I guess it's a police headquarters, and there's a commentary. It's so cool. There's these little details where you hear someone saying, okay, you know, you're looking good, you're coming down, just land it nice and easy. Reflections of the light before swearing, before JJ Jar Jar Abrams, you know, and his bloody lens flare everywhere. This was a real thing. And we get a view from inside the cockpit. Again, I know I keep saying this, guys and girls, but how real does this look? Look at this. It's beautiful. Ah, man. So Edward J. Olmos is landing the craft. Nice little display screen there. I think it looks good. It still holds up, and you can see the city in the distance. So, this is going to be a bit of a real nerdy detail for you, but this always used to get me when I was young watching this. When you see Deckard walking in and the camera's coming down, you see the roof of... oh my God. Again, I've got stream brain. I know all these characters' names, but I'm going blank. The boss. The boss, like, Deckard's boss is like calling him in, even though Deckard has quit. Look at the rubbish on top of this little roof of his office building. This always used to get me. It's like... I don't know if you're familiar with the book, but from Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, there's a big thing about Kipple. Just look up Kipple. It's like, you just can't escape it. It builds up, it builds up. It's kind of I don't know, it's probably an allegory for something else, but I got the idea of as rubbish and, just gummy, just like waste. And you can see the dust and ash everywhere. It's dirty. It looks lived in. It looks real. Poor Gray. Just lost. Totally nerdgasming out over a movie, but hey, I don't care. Then we get him. Okay, I'm going to come back to the chat because I can't remember his name. Completely gone. Help me, guys. Help me, guys. Bryant. Thank you, OBG. Brian, there we go. Brian, I was twice as quick when I walked... No, was it? I was quick when I walked in here. I'm twice as quick now. Thank you for that. Hey, Michelle in the chat. How you doing? No way. I just lost your comment. See you humans later on Sleazy's show. Yeah, it's good to see you, Michelle. And Nosferatu, thanks for dropping in, mate. I know you're going to be modding for Sleazy later on. Have a good time with that. His boss is Bryant. Yeah, Bryant. In Japanese, the kanji there says, Genki ka? It's what I always ask. Are you Genki? Genki desu ka? Are you well? How are you? Are you fine? So there you go. There's the Japanese lesson for today. Okay, let me get back. Thank you for that, OBG, and everybody else who dropped it. Brian, yeah, thanks for that. Let me just scroll up to see if I can find... The craft looks functional. Yeah, exactly, Roman. The craft, the police spinners, they look real. They look like they're working. When it takes off, it's got a physicality. It looks like you see the smoke or the steam like come from below. It's got a presence. Pulls you right into the movie. As Steven says, the Matrix has him. Gray's gone. Gray's lost a Bladerunner. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, let's get back. Where were we? So, how good is his character actor? Have you seen him in the Coen Brothers movie? Again, Stream Brain, Lost. One of their earlier movies where it's a real dark PI, a noir story. Great, he's got a great part in it. He's really creepy. Is it Blood Simple? Is that it? Have I got it? Blood Simple just came. Great, he's got a great part in that as well. Horrible, horrible part he plays. Francis McDormand's in that, the long-time collaborator with the Coens, and I think wife of one. Okay, anyway. So, Bryant uses a classic word. He calls them skin jobs, doesn't he? He tells Deckard, is it six skin jobs or whatever? They slaughtered the crew of a shuttle. They came down, they're looking for answers on Earth. They're not sure why they've come back, but he's thinking that they're going to head for the Tyrell Corporation. So that's why he sent Holden in there. Holden was interviewing the Tyrell Corporation's employees. That's how they found Leon. And Leon was tagged by the Voight-Comp test that he's, obviously he's replicant. Well, by shooting poor Holden in the back. That's pretty much gave him away. But, okay. Trying to go too detailed. Keep going, Gray. Here we go. So Deckard, after having no choice to take up the case, there was a weird quote, isn't there, guys, that I never really got that. Bryant says to him, you know how it works, pal. If you're not Blade Runner, if you're not cop, you're little people. And I never got that. It's like, I can get what it means, but I don't think it's in the book. It's a weird line. It's basically, got no choice. You got to do it. So we see this beautiful scene of them taking off and they're flying through the cityscape. Look at all those spinners and the craft in the background. You see it from inside the cockpit, you see it from outside. I just wanted to pull this image here. Beautiful, beautiful use of the lens flare, the light flare there, which works. Again, there's a physicality to the city in the background, to the model. It just looks so good. It's so detailed. I know my screen grabs are not great quality, but this is StreamYard. It's running at 720p. It's not going to look great. The version I used, unfortunately, it's not a Blu-ray version. It's just a HD, so apologies for the quality. Here we go, I just said it. As you guys were saying, these craft, they look real, they look lived in. There's a great physicality to them. Look at the details. You can see Edward James almost sees his cap, his hat in the background there. I love the little skull cap thing he's got on when he's flying. And there's a craft passing outside the window there. Look at this here. This is just coincidence, but it looks like Deckard's checking his smartphone, which weren't even invented then. I know it's not that. He's looking at something else, but doesn't he? It looks a bit like he's got his iPhone out. Time traveling. And there's kanji there on the screen. on the cockpit glass, it's saying like, was it beware, like no entry or something like that. Okay. So they approach the Tyrell Corporation, the Tyrell building, and we get a beautiful golden hue to the screen, a golden look. The lights again with the flares. Look at the detail in the background, that building. Unbelievable. It looks real. They look like offices, or apartments or whatever. Looks lived in. Wow. This is where Gray stops talking and goes quiet for a moment. Oh, mamma mia, when I was young. God, I had a thing for Sean Young. Ooh, that kind of rhymes, doesn't it? Wasn't meant to. Don't you think she was iconic in this movie? Absolutely stunning. Beautiful. There's a throwback to the 1930s or 40s look to her, as well as, a weird cyberpunk, futuristic, noir. She's the femme fatale, isn't she? Look at the lipstick, so bright. Look at the lips. And look, her eyes are brown. Not green. I'm sure Deckard says that in the sequel, in 2049. Doesn't he say, or have I got it the other way around? Doesn't he say, like, you've got her eyes wrong. Her eyes were green. They're brown, mate. Just saying. Okay, calm down, Gray. Stop nerding. Stop, nerdgasming. But Sean Young, even though I've heard since then, allegedly, that she's an absolute nut job. I heard that apparently James Woods worked with her for, a few movies, and she got obsessed with him. Apparently almost stalking him. Allegedly, just saying that, okay? But she's unbelievable in this movie. So, inside the Tyrell Corporation, obviously it's right near the top, near the penthouse suite. Again, look at that background. It might be a painting, but it's okay, take a sip of coffee. Here we go. When I was younger, when I was going to college, I was really into art. I tried studying art. I did an art degree for a while. Dropped out. That's another story for another day. But, man, I used to love the visuals in this movie. It's so beautifully put together. I mean, we know that Ridley Scott is a visual director. You've seen his works. How beautiful and scary and amazing does Alien look. Going back to The Duelists, even that. Great movies. But, yeah, look at this. What can I say? Of course it's a set, but it all looks real to me. This world looks lived in. It looks like it's taken from a fantastic cyberpunk game. We get our first introduction to Tyrell, the genius. I loved his glasses. They always struck me in this movie, like the really weird thick lenses, and you saw in the centre, it looks like a screen again almost. Indulge me. I want to see a negative before I see a positive. So basically he's asking Deckard to test. He wants him to use the void comp test to find, if a replicant is a replicant or not. And he's asking, I want you to test Rachel. I want a negative before I see a positive. I told you we're going to be spoilers, guys. Well, everyone's seen this movie by now, haven't they? Come on, you know smell this. But, okay, here we go. We get another beautiful image of the smoking. The light shining through it, kind of half obscuring her face. Look at her eyes. Look at her eyes here. So beautiful, but so important to the plot. You see these white lights in the centre. You see this a lot with all of the replicants in the movie. And there was a way that they did this. I think it was pretty simple. They just used some kind of lamp to shine to get this reflection. Apparently that was what was, how they could tell. Well, not the normal people couldn't tell, but that's how we should be able to get it as a film viewer, that these are replicants, these aren't real. They've got this weird light in their eyes. Anyway, waffling again, get distracted. So, Deckard interviews her, finds out that she might actually be, well, he believes she is a replicant. It's a great scene, beautiful, questions and conversation. The way Ridley Scott shoots it, and he does this gorgeous cut from that photo I just showed of Sean Young smoking. You see the smoke, it's taking over, and he cuts to a view of them both at the table from further away. It's so good. Okay, so we leave, and Deckard's back in the car, back in the spinner. They're flying through the city, and you get another advert. You get the Coca-Cola commercial there. Again, just look at this. Sid Mead, Anton First. Those guys are absolute geniuses. What's the plural of genius? Is it genii? Okay, let me come back to the chat. You guys, are you still there? Anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? How many questions, Roman? That's right. How many questions does it normally take? 20 to 30, cross-referenced? It took more than 100 for Rachel. She doesn't know. How can she not know? How can it not know what it is? I think she's beginning to suspect. So good. Just great writing. Nosferatu is saying that Gray definitely didn't flip that tortoise over. Tortoise? What's that? You know what a turtle is? Same thing. Got Salty screaming for a link. Salty, I'm sorry, mate. I'm going to open it up to friends after an hour. I just want to go deep dive for an hour and then bring people in, if that's okay, and just like talk about it. But also, I want to do like a group stream when I've finished these. Probably going to take me 3 parts to cover this over the next few weeks. Let's have a round table. Let's just go deep on the movie and let's talk about it. Let's gush over it. Then they can't accuse us of being negative all the time, can they? Gray's gushing, help! His Wakizashi's getting excited. It's starting to gush. Oh my God! As he spills his water all over the table. Thank God it's only water and not sake. Just saying. Might be. Okay. The dialogue, though limited, is brilliant. Exactly, Roman. You got it, mate. Oh, all right. Check stream elements. Oh my God, Salty, what are you doing? You've not been naughty, have you? And there's a weird quote here from Nosferatu. I'm kind of scared to try and read that out. It might send me to another dimension or, some weird link of Sexbot land in a cyberpunk atmosphere, of course. Stephen's saying, classic Gray. I think Gray's had too much coffee. He's too hyped. He's nerdgasming out. As you say, Nosferatu, it really fleshes out the world, doesn't it? It just looks so good. And as Salty says, mate, this is it exactly. They show, they don't tell. That's why the studio execs freaked out. They were saying the test audiences, they don't understand it. Because it was showing, it wasn't telling. They told just enough, for you to get an idea. And it's just drops you in the world like the original Star Wars does. That's what's so great about it. It drops you in there and you gotta catch up. You gotta follow the plot. You gotta keep going, but you don't care because you're just blown away by the visuals, the music, just unbelievable, like syncing of visual music. What a combination of artists. Hey, Blair, how you doing? Your favourite movie too, mate? Yeah, it's so many, isn't it? So many of us favourite movies. We love it to death. I know so much has been said about it, but I just want to give my 10 cents or my 10 yen. And Daniel, hey, nice to see you, mate. I'm loving the energy. Oh, I don't know how long I can keep this up. My heart's going crazy. You wouldn't believe it. And the more I talk about it, I keep getting chills up the back of my spine. I've not had anything naughty, I'm just saying. I'm just on coffee and water. Hail to everybody out there. Look at him go, says Stephen Ransom. Thank you. Okay, so let me get back to the photos. What am I on? It's saying photo number 32. I think I only took about 50, guys, so there's not much more to go. As I say, I'm going to go for another probably 15. I was aiming for an hour, but we'll see. Once I get to the end of the photos, I'll send the link out and let's talk about it. You're never pulled out of this world by some randomness. It's perfect. Roman of the Empire, exactly. Even the flaws make it great, don't they? Even the moments of the out of sync dialogue where you see characters talking and you hear nothing. You don't care. You don't care. It's just like the little details. That's what I keep raving about. So we have Deckard and Edward James Olmos's character again. Come on, Gray. Is it Gantz, whatever? Something like that. They go to Leon's apartment and they're checking out what's there. And we see, is it the second piece of origami that his character makes? The first piece is in Bryant's office, isn't he, where he drops, I don't know if it's a unicorn, it might have been, or a horse or something. But we see this little stick figure, and being the dirty-minded person that I am now, the older Grey, the crazy Wakizashi, when I look at this now, what do I see? Come on, you know what I'm saying, don't you? It looks like, is that his Wakizashi extended? Could be, I'm just saying. Sorry about that. Let's get back to the serious side of this discussion. Okay, so we see them checking out the apartment. There's a great scene where Deckard goes into the bathroom. It's really weird, creepy. The light's not working. He flicks the light and it comes on. It's a weird, like, orangey, yellowy light. It looks dirty, the bathroom. That always struck me as a young, not kid, but as a teenager watching it. You see in the bottom of the shower, there's this weird mess. It looks almost like ink or something. And, of course, Deckard finds a scale, which he thinks is a fish scale. Picks it up, puts it in a little baggie. And then he's looking through the drawers and he finds a series of photos. Now, photos are really important to this movie. They keep cropping up. It's great. It's such like random images. There's two little boys there. No idea who they are. But the details, like the writing on the side of the photos, you can't see it in detail, unfortunately, on this clip. But there's something there. Is it like Japanese? Is it kanji? Is it just saying Polaroid? It's saying something. I don't know. Did they have that back then in the photos? I don't remember. And now, another iconic introduction. The second time you've seen Batty, Rutger Hauer's character. You've seen him once on the screen in Bryant's office when Bryant's showing Deckard the replicants who've escaped. Roy Batty, the leader. This is the first time we see him properly, like physically, in the movie, and it's such a freaky, creepy scene. It always used to creep me out when I was young. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the colour of his hand. It's like partly white. Looks like there's like white makeup, something on it. His nails were really, really cut short. There's a weird shape to them. And, he's like clenching is he clenching his fist? He's trying to fight off the degradation. He's trying to fight off, the death. He's approaching death, isn't he? It's like time. It says here in Japanese, Mada jikan ga aru. It basically translates as, I still have time. I still have some time. But, it's not like the same line in the movie. But what an introduction. So we see Roy Batty meeting Leon outside. Look at him. His dyed hair. So cool. There's a bit of a Sting look to him, isn't there? Which was also taken, was it inspired by Dune? David Lynch's Dune? Just saying. But maybe not. But Rutger Hauer looked better. What an iconic image, what an iconic character. Did you get your precious photos? His accent as well, which I can't do. It's so cool. He's a Dutch man speaking English, but Dutch people speak English like perfectly, fluently, but there's a little bit of an accent to it, which I always liked. Someone was there. Men. Police men. Oh, God, it's so good. And then another shot of the world. This is like just one little small set, which was supposed to be rank and dirty and really hot and humid at the time they were filming it. The constant rain and these cyclists just passing. You can see in the background there's a Japanese sign saying restaurant. You can see from katakana, restaurant, it's restaurant. There's kanji like graffiti on the middle pillar and the side there. You can see a fire. There's two people warming themselves by it. Again, not many people in the scene. It's not showing a bustling city, but it looks real. It looks like a world, for me anyway. Cyclists, you see so much, don't you? So I love the contrast between you've got cyclists and you've got the flying cars, the spinner cars. So cool. The mix of like old and new, wrecked, broken down, ruined, and beautifully new, perfect replicants. The peak of humanity, but not built to last. And we see Roy Batty and Leon about to enter the eye clinic. And again, there's all this kanji written on the side, the door. I can't read it all because my Japanese kanji reading sucks, but it's like entrance and you can see left, up, go, like, exit, and yeah, I don't know. But when you see all kanji like that, that's usually Chinese, not Japanese. Japanese is a mix of kanji and hiragana or katakana. So, isn't the eye weird outside? To say the sign for the eye. Here we go, another iconic character. What a great look to him. Look at that. It's so kind of, not even cyberpunk, is it? It's steampunk. There's a steampunk feel to his costume. Oh man, great actor. Is it James Wong? I'm not sure. He's been in so many things. I loved him in Big Trouble in Little China. Another Wakizashi Daisuke movie, one of my favourite movies. We'll have to do a panel on that sometime, won't we? Talk about that. But yeah, he's been in so much. So cool. I love the way this room, this like whatever where he's working, everything's covered in ice and frost. It's freezing cold. You get that feeling. Is it the steam from the breath when they breathe? Oh, you Nexus 6, huh? I designed your eyes. Chen, if only you could have seen what I've seen with your eyes. Something like that. Man, again, so many iconic quotes in this movie. I'm just going off memory here. I've not got them written down, so forgive me for the mistakes. But God, it's so intimidating when you have Leon behind him. He splits open his suit, his big fur coat, rips it open, and he's freezing. Jen's freezing cold, and then he's putting like these eye on his shoulder in the background. Oh man, you just know it's not going to go well for him. And we cut to the scene of Deckard driving his police spinner through this tunnel. And again, beautiful use of light, reflection, the colours, the shadows there. It's so good. Deckard's listening to the interview with Leon again. So he gets back to his apartment. He takes the lift up to, is it 97? Floor 97. And it's a great scene. The lift's going up. You see the counter in the background. It's counting the floors. And he senses or he hears there's somebody there. As the lift doors open, he pulls out his gun. He's pointing it. It's Rachel. Well, it had to be, didn't it? The femme fatale, Rachel. She's come to see him. She's got questions. She wants answers. Looking absolutely stunning yet again. So he invites her in, offers her a drink. She doesn't take it, unfortunately. He has one. And she pulls out the photo. This is a photo of me and my mother. And he tells her this is probably just Tyrell's niece. And he starts telling her memories. And it's such a moving scene. Deckard delivers it so well. Harrison Ford, he delivers it great. And she's listening, and you can see tears slowly welling up in her eyes, start coming down her cheeks. Deckard sees that, and he suddenly changes his story. He's like, no, I made a bad joke. I'm sorry. You're not a replicant. I'm sorry. And she just storms out, devastated. And he goes back to his kitchen. He's been washing a glass, and he's about to fix himself a drink. But guys, is it just me, or did you want to live? Did you want to live in this apartment? Did you want this kitchen? Growing up, I just thought it was so cool. Yeah, it's messy, it's weird, it looks kind of mixture of, again, old and new. This weird alternate universe or whatever. God, the details in it, the lights, his whiskey glass, which I think you can buy, and I'd love one, by the way. I'd also love a salty Texas. See, I might order one, just saying, if you've got do a Bladerunner styled whiskey glass salty. And there's a crazy scene here. I don't know if I imagined this, but I think it is in the movie. We see Deckard, he picks up the photo that Rachel has dropped, and he's looking closely at it. And we hear like children's voices, and light kind of passes across the image. It looks almost like it's moving slightly. It isn't, but the way it's shot, it's such a cool little effect. Go back and watch that. And the combination again, like the children's like voices and laughter, and oh man, it's so weird. It's like, worlds within worlds, worlds within photos. Are photos real? What do they represent? Why do the replicants keep photos? Why does Leon have them in his drawer? Why does he hold on to them? Why are they so important to him? It's because they represent memories. The replicants don't have memories, but they're worried that maybe they do. That's what makes Rachel different, isn't it? If they've even injected memories into her. They've given her Tyrell's niece's memories or somebody's. And we see Deckard going through Leon's photos. And there's this great one here. Okay, there's the right, and you got Polaroid on the bottom. But look, there's weird symbology in the bottom left here. There's these little red letters or numbers. We see Rutger Hauer again, Roy Batty. How cool is his arm? Look how buffed he is there. That's a big bicep, mate. Wish mine looked like that. But again, the importance of photos. Just take a breather. Wow, take a swig. As Deckard takes his gorgeous glass of whiskey out onto the balcony, and we see a beautiful view of the cityscape. The music is playing the Vangelis theme, and it's just about to change to one of the most iconic the Bladerunner Blues theme kicks in because we're going to switch, aren't we? We're going to switch to... Who are we going to switch to? Pris. We're going to see Pris approaching JF Sebastian's apartment. Oh, God. The Bladerunner Blues. How good is it? There's so many videos on YouTube of just that playing, and you see, like, shots of Tokyo at night with the rain pouring, things like that. People have put it to games, you know. They've made the videos to it because it's iconic, isn't it? And I wish I could play the music. You know, YouTube is so strict about music, isn't it? They're so mean. How much better would it be if we could just like play even just little bits of movies and music without fear of getting like crapped on and cancelled and, you know, copyright struck. So Daryl Hannah, another iconic role, and man, again, I'm going to stop saying this, but guys, just look at this. Look at this scene. I caught it perfectly when the light of the spinner overhead goes. You catch there are people on that bus, whatever it is, truck. Yeah, some kind of city transport. Look at the detail. Look at the background. You can see the buildings, the hotel names, Grand Central. There's like a video phone there, screens. Police spinner just setting off. God, on the ground, in the sky. And she's walking towards the apartment, crossing the road. Incredible visual effects. Then we see JF Sebastian arrive. Here he is. Gets out of his weird kind of, what is it, mini truck. $1 million in the background of the signs. And he drops his keys. Startles Pris. She goes running, she knocks him flying. She charges into his truck, like puts her elbow through the window. You can see her strength. Drops a bag and he picks it up. He's like, you dropped your bag. Great accent. This actor's so cool. Again, an iconic look, iconic face. Great character. Look at his costume. Look at his weird hat. The gloves, the shoulder pad. And here's a bit of Japanese kanji for... Not kanji, sorry. Katakana. Purisu. Purisu. Pris. What's your name? Pris. I'm JF Sebastian. JF Sebastian. So he's in the book, but it's different how they do it in the book. And... she's lost, she's hungry, she's alone, she's scared. But is she really? She's after JF for reasons. And then as he invites her in, they're going into the apartment block, about to take the lift, the elevator to his floor. We get another view of this fantastic ship, the off-world colony ship, the advertisement of the Japanese woman, the beautiful geisha-style face. And look at that scene. Again, it's model work, but it looks better than anything I've seen. For example, in Kenobi, just to reference one recent thing I've watched. The physicality, the depth, the realness, the detail, it's lived in. I think I'm on the last photo. This could be the last one. So we see Pris, JF Sebastian, enter the apartment building. They're about to take the lift to his floor, and this always used to freak me out as a kid. These weird mannequin dummies in the background, the mannequins like naked and abandoned. You see like there's rubbish on the floor. There's, you know, kipple. Again, it's from the books. Gummy, garbage, just building up. This detritus. Is it the last photo? Let's see what happens if I click the next one. Oh no! There we go. This is it. This is the final one, guys. Finally made it. 57. This is 40 minutes into the movie. This is what I wanted to cover in this first video. And another iconic line from the movie. JF unlocks, opens the door. He's about to go in. He's like, oh, he remembers there's a lady with him, so he lets her go in first. He walks in. Home again, jiggity jig. Good evening, JF. Good evening, fellas. His two genetically designed toys, dolls, whatever they are, come walking in, and how weird are they? How cool are they? It's like a kind of mix of Alice in Wonderland meets the Teddy Bear's Picnic. It's some crazy psychedelic like nightmare escape. But they're so cool, they're so cute, and Prissy's smiling, she loves them. And it says in Japanese, "Kaite kita, I'm home." Okay, let me get back to you guys. If anyone's still out there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this, to be quick, I'm just going to drop this in the chat. I know that's crazy, and I will remove it after about 2 or 3 minutes. But here's the link if anyone wants to drop in. You're welcome. There we go. It's down. So, I can't believe there's still 10 people here. Are you guys still watching? Are you serious? I really thought it was just going to be me just going off on one, like Wakizashi waffling till the cows came home. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was me. Wow, it took 55 minutes to cover the first third of the movie, the first 40 minutes of Bladerunner, the final cut. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see you. Now let's catch up with this chat. Good to see you, Punk Waddle. Stephen Ransom. Daniel. Hey. Blair, inbound. Good. That's good to see you. Good to hear, mate. And we've got Roman of the Empire coming in. I told you I was going to open it up, guys. Okay, let's invite. For the first time on Grey Stream, we have Roman of the Empire. Hello, how are you? Can you hear me? You muted, Roman, but yeah, looking good. And we also have Stephen Ransom. How are you, Stephen?
Doing very good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. Thank you so much for listening to my crazy waffle. Was it okay?
We were having a gas in the chat, just waiting for you to like come out of geekdom.
I couldn't do it. I know. I'm sorry. I went in like stream of consciousness on a total Wakizashi waffle.
It was great, man. It was great. Great presentation. Seriously.
There we go.
Thank you. Do you love this movie as much as I do?
Who? Me? By the way, hello, Roman of the Empire. Cheers.
Ah, Roman,
Hey,
I can hear you now.
cheers.
Say something.
I tried. Why am I so
Okay, there's a
slow?
little bit of delay. I don't know why, but you hear, mate. You hear, you're good. Roman was getting excited in the chat before it started, and before we even went on, he's like, great, let me know. Like, I want to jump in. It's like, yes, I want to have people on after the first hour. So thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for coming in. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute. Please let me know what you think about the first 40 minutes of Blade Runner, or what you think of the movie.
You first, Rome.
Well, I think probably the best sci-fi, straight up sci-fi of, well, the last 40 years, certainly. And oh my God, I'm dying here in the by connection. I don't know what's going on. I have everything working.
Don't worry, there's a delay, but we can still hear what you're saying. It's just coming a little bit after.
I'll just try
No
not
problem.
to move like a weirdo. And this film really did change the way that films looked, and really the whole the cyberpunk vibe. This was where that came from.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks,
You
Roman.
know,
Stephen, how about you?
I still remember seeing in the newspaper the poster for the movie and begging my parents on just the image of the poster to like take me to this movie, please. Yep. They're like, oh, it's getting really bad reviews. I'm like, I don't care. I must see this. And then, of course, after seeing it, it was just I was just boggled. But looking back on the legendary nature of it all, I mean, Ghost in the Shell, 90% of sci-fi in anime, it's like all inspired by this stuff. The entire cyberpunk vibe is inspired by this. Soundtracks, British directors, the lived-in look finally got its chance to step outside of the Star Wars universe and became a reality for this movie.
Mm-hmm. Did you see it on the cinema when it was first released? I can't believe I'm so jealous, man.
Yeah, I did. I was able to see it in the cinema when
fantastic.
It was first. I don't have any memories of that, though. I don't have any memories of that. My first memories of seeing it, in rerun and, on television with VCR and stuff. But I was putting in the chat that one of the first places I visited when I came to Los Angeles was to visit the Bradbury. The building that the final showdown happens in. They've completely restored the building. It is a beautiful piece of late 19th century architecture.
I forgot the name of it. That's right, the Bradbury building. Yeah, nice one. Blair, welcome. Good to see you. How are you doing? And what do you think of Blade Runner?
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, yeah. So I couldn't go to the theater. I was too young. My parents wouldn't take me, so I had to watch it on HBO when it came out. And like back in the day, they gave you the little HBO booklet that showed you when your shows are going to be on HBO. I went through and found every single time Bladerunner was going to show, and I watched it because I got hooked on that music and the entire feel of the movie, the mood that, that early 80s, there's this 1930s, 40s revival thing going on in music videos and such. And it totally had that noir feel. It had Harrison Ford, which was, Han Solo and Indiana Jones. It was sci-fi. And then that music, there's like the greatest movie ever made for me, And I've watched it when the director's cut came out in 92. I was in DC. I went to the Uptown Theater like for a week or so every day and sat in the upper balcony and watched it like every day. And I just fell in love with this movie. And the video game too, they use a lot of the music. Like you said, these videos that are like, 12-hour long loops of the Blade Runner Blues or the Rain song.
Okay, I've never played the game.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's quite the thing.
Thank you all for coming on. We have Salty Texas C jumping in.
Hi.
How you doing?
Check your stream elements, Gray. Hi, everybody. How's it going?
I'm all talked out, so I've gone hoarse. So you guys take over. You go for it. Wow.
Oh, dude, you were rolling tonight, and tonight was a thing of beauty, Gray. And no, just stop, dude. There's no irony to what I'm saying, dude. You are so good at this, and when you just let yourself go and you talk about the things that you love, it's really, really cool to watch. So thanks for the link. I just wanted to say that.
No, thanks for coming in. Thanks to all of you. And Roman, your connection's looking better now, mate. Please say something.
For some reason, I had a virtual background on. I just got my StreamYard account set up like properly, and I'm a little retarded, a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. So everything's working now. But Gray, your descriptions of the detail. I mean that's just one of the key elements of the movie that make it so good. Are all those tiny things.
Amen.
Because they are in every scene. There is not a scene in this movie that is wasted. And what I had made a comment that the grit and grime of literally everything else is juxtaposed by the Terrell Corporation building.
Yep.
That is clean and it is beautiful. Everything else is grimy and nasty, and that isn't. And that is just such a change up in the film when you are there.
Absolutely. The other thing too is that strip club and how seedy it is and how crowded it is. And the cinematography does this fantastic thing where it makes you feel how claustrophobic and smoky it is. And even when Deckard ends up in Zora's her name. In Zora's dressing room, there's nothing that needs to be changed. There's nothing you can go, that was okay. Everything is like we are here in this world. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Gray, you had mentioned earlier the top of the police booth for the boss. Yeah. I will never forget that detail. I don't know how that happened, if it was by accident. All the papers and the dust. It's like 40 years of dust on that ceiling.
It was so cool.
It's like,
was that meant to be like Kipple?
Just gone to pot. It's like it really sets the tone. I mean, this is a police office.
What was cool about that is that building looked like no one had lived in it since the 50s. And they just set up a camera somewhere. Somebody got on a ladder and was like, you know what? Where's the creepiest, weirdest, dirtiest looking angle we can take in this falling down building? And then they nail it. It's like somebody thought about that. Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
It's a brilliant angle. It's weird, which is why it's so good. You don't get shots like that. Yeah. Certainly not anymore. Well, in the scene where he is chasing Zora and she's running through the glass, that is such a strange, unnerving scene. And I just, love it to death.
in the Vangelis music while it's happening, and that
Oh,
saxophone
yeah.
and everything.
Mhm.
And it's just it's I remember
Yes.
seeing that because I didn't get to see it in the theater because my parents wouldn't take me, but I saw it on VHS as soon as it came out. And you all remember what it's like to watch the movies on VHS, right? You know, but it was just
Oh yeah.
we rewound that and watched it, and just all the neon and the way the glass captured the neon. It's like these
It's
guys
just
were
falling off. It's so
geniuses.
good.
Yeah.
It's just I can gush over this, just like Gray was gushing earlier.
Like you didn't care. You could see it was a stunt double. You didn't care that the guy
Yeah.
had a wig on, which they later corrected in the
you're-
final.
They had the
cut,
squib in her hand.
yeah.
Yeah, Joanna
Just a-
Cassidy had the squib in her hand. There's the
Oh,
original
did she?
movie.
Oh,
You
right
can
on.
see the close-up where it pops out. She's holding the squid in her hand. They fixed that when they did the final release. They actually
That's right.
fixed the wig
They
and all that
cleaned it
too.
up.
But
The
did
reason
you
I like,
talk about the curse of Blade Runner?
No, I haven't talked about that. Just before
All
you go on,
this-
the reason I went for the final cut, guys, is that because it had been cleaned up. I think what do you call it? They cleaned up the music and the look of it, so it looks the best. I know it's not
Did
everyone's
they restore
favourites.
the narration
A lot of you
for that,
guys
Ray?
prefer the narrated one, don't you? The original one.
No, it doesn't have the
No.
narration in this one.
It
No,
doesn't.
do you
See,
prefer that?
I love the narration. That
Yes.
Roman
Like
loves
I
that
said,
one, don't you?
it's-
I love it.
There's
I
so
love
much
it.
Gotta
that
have
gets
it.
lost without it.
I
Like when
agree.
Yeah.
Decker's talking about Brian and
Mhm.
what kind of man he is, and what kind of man Deckard is. His ex-wife. All of these little bits you lose without that narrative, and I think that
Yeah.
narrative adds an awful lot to who Deckard is as a character. Without that, you get it, but it just builds that much more.
But
Yes,
it also thematically ties back to the film noir from the
Yep,
from the
yep.
30s and 40s.
Yeah, like Philip
because
Marlowe.
That
That's
is
it,
what
Philip
this
Marlowe.
movie is. It is Philip Marlowe. It is Humphrey Bogart in the Maltese Falcon chasing something down. It just happens to be in a dystopian future. And this movie never strays from being a detective story. It doesn't. And that's
No.
what makes it so damn good.
Yeah, I got into on Audible all of the old Philip Marlowe books and
Oh, nice.
listening to those while living in Los Angeles and literally knowing the building and the street corner he was talking about in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie does not stray from that. One of my favorite scenes in the film, in Blade Runner, is him cleaning the blood out of his mouth in
Yes,
the bathroom.
Yes,
It just
sink.
he is
And it
so
goes into the
human
vodka,
at that
you can
moment.
see the
Exactly,
The
dude,
sip.
it's
Oh,
in
that's
the
just so
vodka.
good. So good.
Those little details tell you that they're
And
everywhere.
That's all film noir. Every damn part of it is film noir. And even the way Rachel is dressed is
Yeah,
World
exactly.
War II
Yes.
era hair. I mean,
Yes.
it's
Yep.
brilliant.
Yeah, he was entering the rich man's palace, and this was his dame. It's straight out of those novels, man. Every single image is right out of those books, except 50 years in the future.
It's mad, isn't it? It's that balance between like you say, new but also old. It's a mix of decay, but this amazing technology at times. But it also looks basic, isn't it? Because it was shot back in the 80s. You can see the computer screens look old and basic. But I love that look. It's like Alien, going back to Alien, same kind of
Yes,
thing.
Yeah.
Was
when
this
you do
the first
search on
film?
photo- Oh, go
Go ahead,
ahead,
Ron.
sorry. Oh, I was gonna say when Deckard's doing the search on the photo in the bathroom,
Yeah.
pan this many, right? That is so wonky by today's standards, but it doesn't get lost by today's standards. Sometimes
No.
when you're watching future movies and it doesn't, it's like, okay, it
Yeah,
takes
yeah,
you
yeah.
out. That
Yeah,
doesn't
there's a lot
happen
of that in
later.
Logan's Run.
Do not get lost.
Yes.
You never get
Yeah.
pulled back into the real world.
No, but do you remember watching that like as kids when it first came out? I mean, we're like, are you
Yes.
kidding me? Somebody can take a picture and see what was off this. I mean, it blew
Yes,
our freaking
yes.
minds. And
Yeah,
here's
same.
another
Amazing.
Here's the other thing that'll blow your mind. So this movie came out, what was it, in 82, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
The same year Tron came out, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
82.
Right?
That was
But,
82 as well.
Yeah, but check it out. So 40 years from obviously 1982 would have been 42, which would have been the film noir era. 40 years had gone by. All right, let's do the math. From 1982 to now, 40 more years have gone by. So we're now 80 years removed from those classic black and white film noir detective stories, but it's smack dab in the middle. And it's just, it blows my mind because, I mean, those of us who watch those film noirs, like as kids and even now, man, you could literally watch The Maltese Falcon and then put on Blade Runner, and it would just be perfect. It would be like jazz, really.
And The Maltese Falcon is a perfect example. I wanted to ask you guys something. This is something that just dawned on me just thinking about this anniversary. That is this the first 80s movie that pulls you're the guy we need for the job. We need to bring you back into the fold. Because like Arnold Schwarzenegger did this almost as a trope now, where they go into the mine and like conjure him back into the fold. Was this the first time the 80s had ever done this?
I think they did it in the 70s with some of the more hard-boiled cop stuff, but it was gritty New York or Chicago or San Francisco stuff.
Yeah.
But I think from the archetype that you guys are talking about, I think this kind of set the standard. And what's crazy again is this thing was an absolute commercial failure. There were a lot of major commercial failures in science fiction in '82. Tron was one of them. Yeah, exactly, man. The Thing. I mean,
The Thing was the same weekend, Salty. It came out the same weekend, and they both flopped. Crazy.
But, I mean, what we need to do is do a live stream watch of all those movies from '82, right?
Oh yeah.
And then the question would be, what do we start with? Do we start with Tron? Do we start with The Thing? Or do we start with Blade Runner? Because that is the ultimate three-peat. Could you imagine that at a drive-in movie theater? Man, I would stay up all night with a Woody, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's a nerdgasm.
The nerdgasm, like me before. Guys, can I just get back to Blair to Blair was going to talk about the curse of Blade Runner.
Yeah,
let us know.
So you look at the signs. You got Atari, you got TDK, Pan Am, a few others. You know, all of those have died.
TDK tapes.
Yeah.
Everybody, all of us recorded off the radio or made mixtapes on
true.
TDK tape, man. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Atari. We all had an Atari 2600 at one time. You know, basically every except for Coca-Cola survived, of course, but all those other ones just died. It was so funny how, what was relevant then, you thought was going to be in the future. And then the future, there's one standing company left.
Yeah.
Well, that was before Apple took over the world and the robot Mark Zucker took over all of our brains. It was a better time. Even the dark version of the better time was still better.
I see. The thing is you're right, Roman of the Empire, and that's probably not a road Gray wants to go down. But this is a level of dystopia that we're now living in. IMHO that there's no way we as kids could have ever imagined the world would have gone this way.
Right.
Big part of it was that we didn't have this technology, which literally consumed our humanity. And I think that's a big reason why we're seeing Disney Star Wars, Rings of Power. Like, I think it was Daniel in the chat was talking about these cinematographers and creatives. They don't have what I would consider now to be a classical background in what good old cinematography was. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like The Searchers or Shane or those big expansive worlds where you had your hero standing on screen with this vast vista. Instead, we get a circle where freaking
and it looks crap, so it looks cheap.
Has to go around a laser gate in a circular stage.
Exactly.
Kenobi is the perfect example of that, man. It didn't look good. The scenes on the Star Destroyer, things like that, where it was very, you're in a room. You don't get the vastness. You don't have the horizon, the beauty of it. That was fine, but the other parts where you're on Tatooine were garbage, and that's just modern Star Wars is largely garbage. And I think cinematography, like writing and just creativity in general, that's gone. They're just trying to build on the past and doing a not very good job of it.
Yeah, these are not the best people to be doing this. Yeah.
As you guys were talking about, Daniel says here in the comment he was talking about before, real sets and real models meant people physically spent time caring. And like you said, there's no band-aid to fix in post later. They had to get it right the first time or whatever the second time. They had to be professionals. Exactly. So much better than CGI, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about that.
Totally agree.
And I don't understand. The technology is all there. I mean, you look at what they did with the coupling and the juxtaposition of physical models and practical effects in Lord of the Rings. It's not that I've been saying this for decades now. The art departments are almost flawless, but somebody is not utilizing. You were talking about, scenes in Kenobi. And it just dawned on me that one shot of Luke, Han, and Chewbacca in the halls of the Death Star is more dynamic than just getting into a friggin' elevator.
But it's humanity. But here's the thing, guys, and I'm struggling with this because I've been wanting to make this video for months, but I don't know how to articulate it. The humanity that you see on screen is so profound and it's so real versus what we've been getting. And I can't tell, is it the time? Is it because the actors are more human and they're more based in this situation and with practical effects? Or what is it? Yeah. Because what is the last really good performance where you were moved at a deeply human level? Was it Lord of the Rings? Was there a Marvel movie that did it? But I mean, but there's something going on and we all see it. Now, maybe it's the curse of our generation, right? Gen X and even some of the early stage millennials. But I think what we all have a problem with is that the characters seem to not have any humanity at all. They're literally, these characters, even if they're human, are just part of the CG. And they seem to be written as CG as opposed to
Uncanny
humans.
Valley players. Like in a video game.
It's hard to be connected to your world if you're in a green screen. You don't have a world. Yes. Everything you're trying to do is in your head. And and some actors are good enough to pull that off, but clearly most of them are not. You're getting a two-dimensional performance because they're not immersed in their worlds.
Which is a disservice to them because, acting is reacting. If you're in a fucking room full of ping pong balls and shit, trying to pretend, they're the type of actor that can do that, but a lot can't. So they need, real interaction with real people and to be on a real location or at least a set that looks something like something, not just green, blue, red screens everywhere. So
Deckard and Gaff riding in the car.
Yeah.
Flying car. That was real. They were in there. You got every bit of that scene. You could smell that freaking car. Just like you can smell Deckard's kitchen, which I didn't want to do, but I did anyway.
No, and the other part too is when Deckard is, you can tell he's like 2 sheets to the wind, about to go 3 with the piano, and he starts playing it. Not a word is said, just the music and the cinematography, and Harrison Ford with his blood floating in his vodka. And I mean, these are moments that just, they're going to live forever. And here's the thing, I think that they can make this kind of thing again, but I don't think they want to. I think it's really part of, as the drinker says, the message and the agenda. And I really think this, guys, that they really are trying to dehumanize and de-spiritualize us. Like they don't want us to feel those deeper emotions and connect to the archetypes, which is truly evil,
I'm going to lay some deep philosophy on top of this that I think I find it really strange that we went from the cheap Buck Rogers sets of the 30s and 40s to these epic sets of the 50s and 60s and 70s. Yeah. And then it kept getting scaled back, and something in the 80s started to happen where what I call wet street dark noir became the cheapest way to do sci-fi, because you could hide a lot of stuff in the shadows.
Do you think that
I love that, Stephen?
But it is. It's like everything was wet. Everything was wet in the 80s. It was the only way they filmed. And it was because of live action photography. But the philosophy that I want to throw on this is something my brother used to say all the time. It's like, you look at those pyramids that they built in Egypt, and there's no way on earth that slaves put that together.
Dude, I got a
those were
people
of passion.
No chance. No way.
I agree. And not only that, but they stripped off all of the limestone because there was a major earthquake in Cairo. This is, and I'm not going to derail the show, I swear to God. But the pyramid used to be perfectly pyramidal, and it used to have this engraved limestone covering over it so it's perfectly smooth, and across it were inscribed hieroglyphics that what it contained is lost in history.
Yeah.
What the hell did they write on those pyramids? We will never know. It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's a shame.
Salty, how did we get to pyramids? Is it because I was showing a picture of the Tyrell Corporation in the back?
Well, it's crazy that those are Mayan pyramids, but yeah.
Can I just say
literally
this?
being invested in making a thing of beauty.
That's it. I mean, can I just say this? It's an honor to work with all of you gentlemen tonight. I mean, really, Roman of the Empire, you and I have chatted each other. Stephen Ransom, dude, you're righteous, and you made the coolest Scooby-Doo like meme thing ever. And Blair, Eric's channel member. Guys, we need to do that. We need to make Gray bring us on every Sunday night because we're dropping some serious wisdom here. And I'm gonna twist Gray's arm because I think you got a hell of a good show with a hell of a lot of good people on. That's all I'm going to say. So
it's great, but it's Monday here.
With you guys. It's an honor.
I'm normally working, so yeah, I'd love to do it every Sunday night, but it's Monday morning here, so I can't usually. Thank you, Salty. Look at you with the compliments, dishing them out as usual.
Dude,
you're making me feel embarrassed. I'm blushing.
I keep telling you, and I mean every word. You guys tell him. Gray is the man. Gray is awesome.
He is. Yeah. He is.
We've got Daniel here saying.
I said it in the chat, and I'm going to say it again. It's. And I mean this in the most manly, brotherly hug way I could possibly express. You are an adorable man. The way you were de-aging as you were speaking on screen. It was amazing to watch. You were 12 years old all over again.
I felt like a kid. I felt like I was there. I was gone. Oh my God.
Thanks, Steven. A Howl's Moving Castle moment. It was great.
It was
people in the chat were like, breathe.
Yeah.
I know it makes me want to go to a Comic-Con or a fan expo, and I want to watch Greg go crazy buying things that he can't afford. You know, like I would love to do that. And can I just shout out Purple Valkyries in the chat? I've been lucky enough to spend the last 2 weeks around her and travel around the United States, and she's fantastic.
Hey, Purple.
You guys, if you haven't subscribed to Purple Valkyrie, check her out. She's a fantastic creator.
Salty, did she survive the Taco Bell experience?
Yes, and there was no ill effects. We'll just say that she quite enjoyed it, if I'm going to say it correctly. But don't worry, she's dropping another video tomorrow. She might have tried a local Texas burger place that you all will really like.
Ooh,
saucy.
As Daniel was saying here in the chat, guys, Daniel, Deckard is such a real person. You can imagine he has a lifetime of experience, even though you only see 2 hours of his life.
Right.
It's a great performance by Harrison Ford. He doesn't get much credit, does he, for his acting? But don't you think he plays it so well? Maybe he's just being Harrison Ford. I don't know, but
no. He's being Deckard. There are actors who, Ryan Gosling, who I think is fine. The problem with him, he is Ryan Gosling in everything he does. I just watched First Man last night about the Neil Armstrong. He played Neil Armstrong.
Oh yeah.
But he was just Ryan Gosling being Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford. Nice thing about Harrison Ford, when he's Deckard, he's not Han Solo. When he's Han Solo, he's not Indiana Jones. These characters all have their own personalities, and he knows who they are. They aren't Harrison Ford. And Gray, if the filmmakers of today had as much enthusiasm about their projects as you did with that video, we would have a lot better products out there. They don't care. They are churning stuff
You're
out,
right.
just like
You're
an assembly line.
This is it. The level of care is lacking. The level of care is lacking, isn't it? Big time.
Well,
It's
I think
content.
there's also another layer
passion
to this. I think that the passion, because I'm still looking at the visual effects, right? The costume designs look really cool. I think we're living in an age where this video separation of society has created a disconnect. I'm a big believer in, like, when you go to a movie theater and you're watching something, there's a psychic presence of the audience. Not in the audience, but of the audience.
You can feel the energy around you. I just went to go see Elvis, dude, and it was crazy. You could feel it around you. It was amazing.
And I think that that is what's lacking. There's a disconnect where The director speaks to a visual effects artist or a special effects artist, but nobody else is in the room. It's a one-on-one conversation, and there may be berating or celebration, and nobody else can feel that. The original Pixar movies were created in a mass colony of artists, and everybody felt the vibe of The Office. Same thing for the Batman animated series. It was a vibe.
Absolutely. That's a great series, by the way. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Look at Marvel now. I will drag you into the Marvel world briefly. I won't keep us here long. But look at a movie like The Eternals, where the costumes are garbage. They are so bland. They are so uninteresting. You don't even know the characters' names, and you don't care. But a movie like Blade Runner, where they actually gave a crap about costume design, the looks are very distinctive. They're very unique. Someone drew those up. Someone didn't just sit in front of a computer and cut and paste to make a generic, this is our superhero look, because they're garbage. And so I'm pulling it back out of Marvel now. And movies of the 80s, sci-fi, they cared about what things look like. Star Wars, they cared what things look like. You know, it's that same kind of thing, and that's lost now. Just lost, unless you're doing a period piece, and even then they don't always get it right.
But you saw it in the 80s B movies too. You saw it in, oh god, I'm gonna lose my nerd card. Battle Beyond the Stars was weird because it
I love that movie. I love
great. All right,
yes,
but
great.
You see what I'm saying? It was weird. The dude from the Waltons is in space.
Weird and creepy.
I never got over that. Let's be honest about it.
John Boy.
John Boy, dude. Yeah, what the hell is his name? I forget. But I mean, there were so many great.
John Boy, what are you doing in space, Mo?
Yeah,
Man,
good night,
that's
Mark.
something
Good night,
crazy.
Spock. Good night, alien bitch, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, there were so many good B movies that came out then. And The Last Starfighter. You guys remember what it was like watching The Last Starfighter, and like there's a dude playing a video game, lives in a trailer park in the middle of the desert, and suddenly a dude shows up in a car that looks like Back to the Future, and then he just gets whisked off into space.
Right by the Music Man.
Yes, dude. I mean, dude, very well played, sir.
Alpha
But
Centauri.
you were there. But they paid so much attention to the uniforms and to the details and to the ships. They tried to make them their own. And it's like, where the hell did that passion go? Where did the love go for science fiction?
I think Nosferatu mentioned it in the chat that it was this movie and others like that are good are so immersive. You know, you don't get yanked out of the movie by something weird.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you're watching this, you are totally there in that universe with all that dirt and filth and the lived look and everything about it. You know, it's just so immersive and everything, the costume, the dialogue, everything, the sets, the effects. You know, Alien was the same way. There's another movie. Do you remember Outland? With Sean Connery?
Yes,
Sean Connery.
Yep.
That was another lived-in look. It was a mining colony in space, and it wasn't pretty. It looked like a mining colony.
Yeah.
You know, you had people bitching about their contracts and all that kind of stuff, and drug dealing and all that. Those are really great movies.
Yeah, and we have Alien to thank for that. I think that Alien was a real important breakthrough because it like Star Wars took the Errol Flynn era and brought it to the sci-fi realm, and then Blade Runner took the noir, Bogart films, and dragged them into the sci-fi realm, and Alien did the monster movie in the sci-fi realm.
It did. 100%.
And you're right, though. Alien was really important because it introduced that lived-in, not shiny and fancy, beautiful spaceship. It looks like
a bunch of guys having dinner
or an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
It's cramped,
and bitching,
it's dirty, and there is shit everywhere.
Yep. And they're bitching about getting paid. That's all they did.
Yes.
I mean, what is it? Yosef? Oh, God. I can't remember.
And they even had a Scotty moment in there where the guys are talking about the repair time, and he pulls a Scotty on them. Right? I mean, he doubles the amount of time it's going to take to repair the Nostromo, and he's like, tell him 24 hours.
And they pulls the lever, and all the steam stops because they were just doing it to make it look
right.
It was
great. It was great.
Great. Again, great attention to detail. Guys, something crazy just happened. I don't know who it is, but there's somebody called Not a Replicant has just tipped $50 saying,
Oh
please
my
don't
God.
retire me. Thank you so much, whoever you are. Salty, is
That's
that you?
incredible. No, dude, no. I love you.
No way.
I love you long time. I love you long time, Greg, but I don't love you $50 worth. I'm gonna need to see you topless to get $50.
$1.50.
Your OnlyFans page, where that money's going to, but
Oh my God, whoever you are, thank you
Not
so
hitting
much.
on me,
Yeah, I
shy.
only gave you $2 and you didn't even bother to read my message. So I get it. Like, you just love me and leave me, Greg. That's fine. But do you guys remember that movie? I mean, there was a movie called Space Hunter and the Adventures in the Forbidden
In the
Zone.
Forbidden
And
Zone.
it
oh
had-
god,
Dude,
3D.
I saw that in the theater, man. It had
Yes.
Molly
So did I.
Ringwald in it.
Yep.
and it was,
Glasses.
like,
Yep.
crazy mutant crazy things. It was just, I mean, like, they even gave more of a crap about that movie than they do about Kenobi, than they do about, like, I don't even know what the hell's on Disney Plus. Like, it's trash level. But you went into those movies and they spent a lot of time trying to get you to really believe you were off world.
Yep.
And it wasn't always perfect, but we were
Mhm.
talking about, like,
Uh-huh.
the jump between film noir of the 40s to where, like, the 80s and now. But Harry, oh God, what's his name? The guy who did the slow motion claymation stuff for the dinosaurs.
Harryhausen.
Yes. I mean,
Harryhausen.
like, the attention that they put into trying to make dinosaurs look real, it's nuts, man. I mean, like, there was so much love for this. These were nerds that were making stuff for nerds. And it's like now we're
Yeah.
having corporations making things that aren't even for nerds to
The
get people
message.
who aren't nerds to watch it, and they're not watching it.
It's insane. It's clown world. It's like people making things that haven't had any life experience, haven't lived, haven't done anything, haven't been anywhere, haven't traveled. So they've got nothing to write about.
Right.
They've got no experience.
And a lot of
Exactly.
these writers also aren't familiar with the material that they are supposed to be writing. They don't
Right,
have
yeah.
the background in the lore that they literally must have to make a good product. They are just given, okay, here's this character, give me a story. And
Yeah.
they don't have the background stuff. And that's how you end up with these, again, two-dimensional characters in lifeless freaking stories.
Right.
And Halo was such a horrifying example of that.
What the hell? I don't
Dude.
understand. How do you screw that up?
Dude, Halo, I mean, like, here's the thing. If Halo would have done well, could you imagine the amount of money they would have made? I would have bought the new generation of Halo figures. I would have bought a whole bunch of crap I didn't need and put it behind me on my live stream. And I see you, Roman, you're looking back there too. I've got that same action figure. I do. It's badass, right? Like
The Jazz
how
Bears
could
Roman.
movie, I love this.
How
Roman,
the
I made you
hell-
solo. Go for
Oh,
it,
we
mate.
made
Show
you
us.
big. Yeah,
Show us the Halo.
Show us your
Do it.
figures.
Do it. Show it.
Well, that's my Jazz Wears.
Oh, I got that
Oh,
one. I got
look
that.
at
Came
that.
with a bunch of hands.
I got that. Oh yeah.
I love this.
That's
Dude.
that's awesome.
Dude, I
That's
have
dope.
that figure, dude. I have that one, dude. I mean, that's the thing is, like, we would have bought the Halo T-shirts, the Halo coffee mugs, the Halo figures. We would have bought all that, but they don't want money.
Remember,
Who needs money?
remember Forward Unto Dawn? Did you guys see Forward Unto Dawn? It wasn't great, but
no,
it
but
was
really good.
light years ahead
Yes.
of the Paramount. Paramount that has all this money. It was light years ahead of their version.
Yeah. Well,
I know,
let's not
I know,
forget
I know.
Star Trek Discovery, which is on Paramount, which is now getting renewed for, what is it, a 5th season?
Roman.
I mean,
Oh, no.
and I actually looked at the ratings, dude. Here's the
Oh, Jesus.
And what's even weirder is that the script editor for Star Trek Discovery is a head writer for Amazon, Lord of the Rings,
Yeah,
The
that's what I
Rings of
heard.
Power.
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell is going on?
I don't know. But this is something I always just try to I try to talk myself out of not thinking about it, but shouldn't the World Bank be suing these guys for loss of money? I mean, how many trillions of dollars was lost by these open attacks on their own properties?
Here's
isn't it arson at that point?
But once you go down that rabbit hole, Stephen Ransom, it gets really weird, and YouTube
does.
doesn't want us to talk about it. But Disney did host something for the oh God, what is it? The
Be careful.
Klaus
Be careful,
Schwab thing.
Salty.
I am being very careful, Gray.
I'll show you
I
how
had a
deep
couple
the
bourbons.
rabbit hole goes.
Oh, I'll show you, man. But it's like Disney hosted this thing a couple of years ago, and it was to sell the message. And we all know what's going on with the Roddenberry Foundation, with them releasing what the playbook is to have diversity and representation within science fiction and within properties. And it's weird, right? Like, there's a way to show this and do this. Like, TNG did it so well. Like, I really believe this. Like, TNG, every week, you had diversity, you had Strange New Worlds, you had all these things, but what you had was individuality. And individuality seems to be a problem.
Nice.
Oh, God. Will you be my girlfriend, Blair to Blair? That's really hard.
It came with this.
Oh,
sweet.
wow.
Oh, my God. Wow, dude. That is epic.
Nerdgasm. Nerdgasm. Oh, my God. It's amazing.
Where do you live? I won't break into your house. I'll just...
Is that unicorn solid silver? That's amazing.
I wish. No.
Wow.
Salty,
This is
you
a
should file some
DVD.
visitation rights.
That's incredible, man.
And
That's
it's
incredible.
this is a Void Conf box. It's a little case.
Ah, the Voicom. Brilliant.
And it's got a film cell in it too. So this was.
Tell me it's a film cell of Rachel, please.
Can you see that?
Yes. Oh my God,
Yeah,
dude.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Enhanced 35 to 40.
Yes, exactly. This came with
Exactly.
some little art. You may not be able to. You can kind of see that, can't
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
man.
Packaging. God, I'm such a
So
gushing
jealous.
nerd for packaging. Jeez.
you? And it has the. It has some of the work prints too, like the Dallas work print or the Denver work print. It's
Amazing
the one where
collection.
they had
Blair to Blair.
oh yeah, thank you. They had the one with the chicks with the hockey masks and the
Oh, yeah. I was just showing that.
box
Yeah, that was
dances
from the
Dances,
final
which-
cut. Yeah.
That's where they got that from, was from the work prints, and they showed
Right.
a couple of those, and they that's where they cut those out, and then they put in this narration, and the happy ending too. But
It's like I
Yeah.
don't remember this scene. This one here.
yeah, that's in the final cut, or one of.
I want to go
But-
to this club. Just saying, guys. I want to go. I want to go right now.
Hey, Gray, you live in the country that club might actually exist in.
Yes, exactly.
100%. Yeah.
I've got to go to Tokyo.
There's got to be a hockey mask cafe someplace. There's got to be.
Did you guys ever see? So, do you remember Starlog, the magazine?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Omni
Dude,
too.
yes.
Omni.
When
Yes.
they had the Bladerunner stuff, I would take stuff out and use it, put it on my wall. And there's this
Yep.
famous picture of Harrison Ford and Bladerunner on top of one of those when he's chasing Zora. He's on top of one of the buses. He's chasing her. He's got the gun, and you see the Hare Krishna guys in the front, and these other people who are like uniformed, but they're not cops. I don't know what they were. But there's no. It's not actually a scene from the movie, but it's like a still of that. That's kind of the stuff you see in the work prints. There'd be like a different angle of where they show that one shot. They take a picture in the poster, but then the movie never, you never had that. But
Yeah, I wonder
Starlog
if-
was so amazing. It was such a great was it Phantasmagoria? You guys
Yeah,
remember that one?
yeah. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
They were
Those
makeup
were
magazines.
Such great, yeah.
yes, when you were a kid, it was Starlog and Fangoria for your sci-fi.
It
or
was actually
horror.
the first place I ever saw H.R. Geiger's work.
Yes, me too.
Oh,
Where they had the what was it, the pencil drawings of Alien and what he was
Yep.
doing with the caverns.
Yep.
It
I,
was
and
amazing.
I fell in love right then.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to have some crackerjack magazines back in the day. I mean, I was always into industrial design primarily because of these films. I got into industrial design, and do any of you guys remember a magazine called ID? That it was like a $20 magazine. for
Interior
industrial
design. It was huge. It was an
Yeah.
oversized magazine.
It was like
I
a
know-
wedding,
I remember,
a wedding magazine.
I remember. Yeah.
But yeah, God, and you could just leaf through it like you were
Oh,
looking
God.
through. You would think
Well-
it was like Playboy or something. I was
Well,
just
that's the
so.
thing. Well, no, you get
There was
those
such a
magazines.
great thing about print media the glossy pages, and you just staring at those images for hours.
Yeah.
And you know, in your head, you're thinking about what these characters are like, the environments they're in, the worlds that are being created, and you don't get clicking through the computer. I don't think you make that connection even remotely the same.
But we used to go through those magazines and cut things out very carefully.
Yes.
with
Yeah.
scissors, and put them all together, man. I mean, like, and that's where I go to with spatial relationships. When you work with physical media, you have, I mean, it brings you into a place where you can't like undo, click, delete. You have to get it right the first time. And it's I think that's part of the reason why practical effects has gone away. It's just people, I don't think they have that skill set anymore. And it's weird. It's really weird, guys. Like those magazines, how many things did we all clip out of there? I mean, Chewbacca, C-3PO. And you guys remember a magazine? You guys are going to laugh at me, right? Dynamite. Dynamite magazine was a kids mag. Like I remember that Star Wars issue when it came out, the Empire Strikes Back. I remember when Dynamite magazine had leaked the title of the third and final Star Wars movie. It was called Revenge of the Jedi. And then they decided revenge was the wrong word. A Jedi would never seek revenge.
Revenge. Yes, exactly.
Did you remember Cracked magazine?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
My first Star Wars toys were me cutting out C-3PO and R2-D2 and that from a Cracked magazine because I was so dirt-ass poor.
Us too,
we couldn't
man.
afford.
Blair to Blair, the paper doll version. That's fantastic.
Yes. Until finally I got, C-3PO. We went to
That
get
was my first too.
Went to go get a Star Wars toy. It was like literally a fucking wall of nothing but C-3PO. That was your choice.
Right.
I got it.
I remember. Yeah, no, there were lots of stormtroopers left. There were lots of stormtroopers, but Luke was gone, Han was gone, Princess Leia was gone, Darth Vader was like the first one gone, like back in the day. And even with Empire too, I mean, and that's the crazy thing, like Luke in the Snowspeeder outfit and then Luke in the Hoth outfit.
Oh,
God, those were such great figures, man. Such great figures.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. By the way, thanks for vamping for me as well. I had to go and get some more water. I'm just dried out. But it's been great talking. I was going to go on for just about 20 more minutes. Go up to the hour if that's okay. And then,
absolutely, I'm fine.
So it's great to hear your thoughts on the thing we're talking about. But on that note, I grew up in the UK, and we didn't have Star Wars cards, but we had Star Wars sticker albums. I don't know if you had these. It was by a company called Panini, and they used to bring out these albums. You collect the stickers, you put them all in. Man, I used to love those. just reminding me of it.
Do you guys remember how many? Yeah, the cards. Like remember
not
Star Wars
cards, but actual stickers.
I still have mine. I still have my big box of Star Wars cards.
Okay.
But do you guys remember when Star Wars came out? Do you guys remember when Star Wars came out? Like they kept printing because they kept running out of cards, and so there was like 4 or 5 re-releases with different border.
Everything was running out. You couldn't get anything good.
Border colors. The border colors the big difference.
Well, they didn't have toys. They had a card that says, "You have a toy coming if you bought this card."
Oh yeah.
Yes, we had that in the UK too.
Yeah. I didn't remember that until later, but yeah, they had no idea what they opened up on that thing.
Yeah,
and
Lucas was just
they weren't cheap. They weren't cheap toys. I remember, and still to this day, I would give anything to get the original Star Wars Han Solo blaster. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Perfect wood detail, black. It no orange bullshit like thing in the front. It looked like a weapon. Like if you ran after somebody with this thing, you took your life in your hands. And that's
it looked real, yeah. It looked real. Yeah. No way.
Yep.
Gray, what was your favorite sticker in the UK? Because we didn't have those. Like what was the favorite ones, man? Was it a character or was it like the X-Wings or the Millennium Falcon? What was that like?
Oh God, all I remember is like someone was really rare. I guess it's the same with the cards, yeah. It's basically the same as Star Wars cards, but imagine that they're stickers that you peel and the same size and put them in an album. But there were always like ones you couldn't get, and I can't remember who it was. Who it was you couldn't get? Like probably a Jawa, maybe. Jawa was quite rare, and for some reason. That's what I remember. No way. Thislamic in the chat. Thislamic just saying that, yes, we had those sticker albums in elementary school book club. No way. But in the States, like the whole baseball cards, did it come from that?
Yeah.
That was a huge
It did.
thing, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And
Yeah,
it
it was
did like
exactly.
graduate to pop
Yeah,
culture.
there was like blue, red,
Yes.
orange, green,
green,
and yellow,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
No
that
way.
you nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah.
God, I wish I knew we were going to have this conversation. I would have had him handy.
Ah, good
Oh, man.
memories.
God, I remember my dad came back, and we didn't have a lot of money. And I don't know how the hell he got it, but he came back with an X-wing fighter, which he gave to me,
Ooh,
and then he gave my
awesome.
brother the TIE fighter, and you had to put the stickers
I had the
on
TIE Fighter. Yep.
yourself, man. You guys remember that? And the wings,
Yep.
the X-wing,
Oh,
the
yeah.
panel wings would pop off, and then
Mm.
the TIE fighter wings would pop off.
Yeah.
Pop
And
off.
the X-wing, if you press down R2D2, the wings would expand.
Wings
and
would spread.
the foils, the
Right.
attack foils. God, man! I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like it was just. Man,
And
those
no
toys
digital
meant the
sound
world to
cards
us.
built into
Nope.
the device.
Nope.
You
Nope.
made your own sound effects.
Oh yeah,
Exactly, Stephen. Exactly. Guys, going back to bring back to Blade Runner. Have you heard about the TV series which has been in development for a long time? It's
Yeah.
supposed to be maybe being made
Yeah.
now.
yeah. Well,
Heard,
didn't they do an anime version that didn't do so
They
well?
have.
Now
I
they're
haven't
going
seen
to.
it, but it does exist. Yeah, there is anime,
Yeah.
but like, I haven't seen it.
No,
I
There were a
did
bunch
a-
of shorts for
I
the
did a
movie.
video. I did a video 3 months ago on they're going to do a live action one, and
Yeah,
God help
okay.
us. God help us. Yeah.
God help us all. Blair, you're right. They did shorts, didn't they, to promote the Blade Runner 2049, the
Yeah.
movie? Yeah,
Those were pretty good. I like those.
they were good.
And the movie, when I heard they were making the movie, my first thought was sacrilege. You know, no, this is the one thing they cannot touch.
Right.
I didn't see it in a theater, but I did see it eventually. I brought myself to it.
Mhm.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It's not a Blade Runner, but I didn't hate it. There
It's
were some
Blade
things that-
Runner adjacent. It's Blade Runner
Exactly.
adjacent.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
can
not
live
Blade
with that. But
I
it's
went
not.
and saw it the night that it opened, and I talked it up to a bunch of friends, and we may have been drinking, and then we went to go see Blade Runner because how can you screw up a good light like Blade Runner, right?
I know,
And-
right?
Yeah,
And-
you can totally
and-
fuck it
and-
up.
And it was I was so disappointed. I really I could see it could have been so much more. It really could have been. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it broke my heart, but I think the hardest part was seeing what they did to Harrison Ford, and to a certain
He did
degree.
not give a shit.
No, and that was the
No.
worst part because that's not
Yeah.
that's not my Deckard. That's not my
Speaking
Deckard,
of
you
salty,
know?
speaking of heart, that's what I came out with. I actually quite enjoyed it, but I came out and I said to my friend who thought it was amazing. I was like, "Yeah, but it doesn't have any heart. I don't feel anything from it like I really felt from the first movie, And he was saying, "Yeah, but maybe that's the point,
Yeah,
These
I
are
think that might have
androids."
actually been the theme. That
Okay.
Even that universe had literally lost its heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There were so many moments in the film where it felt like the script was confused about how
Thank
it was
you.
supposed to end.
Yes, thank you. Or reshot. Things
Yeah.
got reshot. Like they
Jared Leto as well. Man, why does he have to fuck up every movie he's
Oh,
in?
yeah,
Sorry,
he's-
I can't stand
I don't
him.
know. Yeah.
I'm going to say this, but the movie that Brad Pitt did where he plays death and he eats whatchamacallit, peanut butter for the first time.
Mhm.
That is Jared Leto's whole acting career right there.
Me,
in
Joe
a
Black.
nutshell.
I know what you mean,
Yeah.
Stephen.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you doing, dude? This ain't an acting
Yeah.
class. What the hell?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point,
This was
dude.
yet another
Stephen
movie,
Ransom
though,
is on
where-
fire.
Where
Just-
Ryan Gosling was playing Ryan Gosling. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
replicate Blade Runner. But
that's
he didn't
it.
give a shit. It was
It-
just, I'm Ryan
here's-
Gosling. Now I'm in this movie.
But check it out. Imagine if it wasn't Ryan Gosling. Imagine if it was Keanu Reeves. Imagine if it was insert that. Let's do this. Let's go around. What actor could have taken what Ryan Gosling did and made this a different movie? Seriously, who would have been a better choice than Ryan Gosling to be the character that he was?
I can't remember his name, but the guy from who played the Collector in the Guardians of the Galaxy, that actor.
Oh,
God.
yeah. Del Toro. Yeah.
Yeah,
Del
I'm
Toro.
missing his first name, but
yeah, Benicio del Toro.
I always want to call him Banicula, and I know that's wrong because that was a vampire.
Caligula.
But, you know, imagine an actor of his caliber, you know, and his nuance. You know, his work in Fear, Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes, thank you.
All of the character
Fantastic
moments that
movie,
he
Steve.
did with the Collector, with his clenching and waving his fists about the you know, it's like I don't know where the nuance went. But speaking of Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, it's like somebody said his performance was wooden, but that actually works because
I saw
Keanu
that
Reeves
movie
is playing
20 times. I saw it 20 times at the $2 theater. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'd go several times a week watching because that movie blew everybody's mind, right?
Yeah.
Like when we were like in our 20s. It was just, it was an incredible movie and it's still timeless. But I mean, like Keanu Reeves, if you would have put him in the Blade Runner universe, holy cow, guys. I think he would have been a really good dude for that role.
I think he could have done it justice.
Interesting.
I
So,
actually like, and please don't cancel me for this. I like Brad Pitt. I like older Brad Pitt. I didn't like young Brad Pitt.
I can
but
see
I like
it.
older Brad Pitt. Short hair Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Give him some scruff and throw him in the role. And I think he would have been. I think he would have done a good job with it. There were a lot of scenes in this movie that visually were really good. But as soon as you went back to the people, that's when you got pulled out of the movie, which is a little bit strange because you shouldn't be. Like his boss, I forget the lady who played the boss.
Oh God, it's what's her name from The Princess Bride? Sean Penn's ex-wife. God, I can't remember her name. Yeah, I know.
Robin Wright.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that
out of
sucks.
the movie.
No,
I don't understand that. Like the atmosphere, they kept on. It you could feel the editing in the film.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's like everybody was trying to be their character, and you could feel it. The audience could feel it. It's so weird. It's so hard to put your finger on.
You nailed it, though. They were trying so hard to be in Blade Runner that you knew they were trying so hard to be in Blade Runner.
Yeah,
the only character, and you guys yell at me, Anna de Armas, or whatever her name is, has the AI.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
I don't think
I liked her
you could
character.
have cast a better actress for that role.
She was the best thing in it.
Yes,
you're right. I agree with that. I hadn't thought about that, but I actually agree with that. I
like David Bautista's role too.
Oh yeah, sorry,
was
I
good.
forgot about him.
Yes.
Nice one, Blair.
in the beginning. Actually, one of the best scenes in the film was that beginning part where he goes to the farm or the bug farm, which is what we'll all be eating soon. But you did get a sense of at least that part of that world. But then it started. Then
that felt
as
real.
soon as they went to the tree thing and all the flashbacks, the memories which weren't his, and I literally hated the fact that and again, don't cancel me, that Ryan Gosling, despite his lack of performance, wasn't the one. And it was the weird girl in the bubble.
Yeah,
but that's intersectional feminism. It's intersectional feminism, though. I mean, it's like that's when you knew, oh, here's the message, you know. And it's like, and it's so overt now that we've got some time from it, where it's like, it is of course a female. It is a female who, on the intersectional scale, is disabled, has all of the check boxes. Where then, of course, we as the audience are supposed to identify with this disenfranchised, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know, but it fell flat.
I had zero feeling for her. Zero.
I agree. I don't care what happens to her. Nobody did. I mean, here's the thing, though. You guys remember orphanage. We went to that orphanage. That was horrifying. You guys remember all those kids working, trying to find like gold and things off of circuit boards? They built it up, and yet the casting of the child of Rachel and Deckard, it fell flat. Like, nobody cares about this girl. Everybody wanted it to be somebody worthy, somebody who earned it. the meritocracy. And no, we can't do that anymore. And hail to you, Zax, by the way. He was wearing a suit tonight. I saw it. He looked good.
Just read the books if you want sequels from Blade Runner Worlds. So,
Okay, I haven't read them.
That
I
orphanage
read Blade Runner
scene,
2.
was that filmed by a second
Not
unit
good.
and a second director? I mean,
It
it
looks like
literally
it.
felt like it was from another movie.
Yes, it was a different. It was like a different. All the cinematography was very different, and it actually felt more real. I mean, the emotional impact that on me was like, oh my god, this is horrifying. And here's the thing, I can entirely see that happening, which is even more horrifying. Let's be really honest about it.
Yeah. Yeah, when I think of
can all
the
come to my bug farm.
cinematography, the movie Brazil, links right back to the visual
Nice.
dystopian
Exactly.
quality.
Yeah.
That the camera had a very specific personality, and it did things to the subject matter over and over again. And a lot of these films, like I was talking about the disconnect, a lot of these films don't have that continuity of camera.
Yes.
If you catch my meaning.
I do.
I mean, I'm inventing phrases here, but
That's
okay.
great
It's-
reference. Terry
at
Gilliam,
least-
another visual director.
You're not inventing genders, so you're all good with me, man.
and to speak to that, the female at the end of Blade Runner 2049 wouldn't have felt so shocking and alarming if we had met her at the beginning of the film.
Yes.
You spent that much time with her during the movie, though, and you're supposed to give a shit that she's the child of Deckard and
Give us something. There wasn't a
You don't- you
photograph.
get no
There
character
wasn't an
development?
article. There wasn't a conversation. Nothing.
Nothing.
It felt very last minute, like it was just dropped in, at the
Yeah.
end, you know what I mean? As you said, as we talked about, it should have been Ryan Gosling. It should have been his story. He should have been the focus.
They played it up the entire movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like, her? All right,
It's like,
whatever.
what? Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap up if it's okay. It's been fantastic talking and gushing and nerdgasming over something amazing. Blade Runner, the original, the best movies. Some might argue the only Blade Runner movie, but
Yes.
yeah. What should we do? Shall we go around the horn if you want to shout out your channels or what you're up to the next few days or this week? So start with Roman of the Empire. Thank you for joining me, man.
Thank you for having me. I've very much enjoyed this. And again, your enthusiasm, they need that much of that in Hollywood, Gray, and we can be getting some products again. So we may actually have to juice you later. That wasn't a sexual reference, by the way, because that would be even weirder. So anyway, for those watching, my channel is Roman of the Empire, and I cover pretty much whatever clever or popular sci-fi stuff is out there, even if I hate it. Remember, I watch things so you don't have to. Thank you.
Bingo.
Well said. Thanks, Roman. I don't mind being juiced as long as you don't take me adrenochrome. Just saying, oh shit, I can't say that, can I, on YouTube?
Let's go, Brandon.
Okay, now, Stephen Ransom. Thank you, mate. It's great to always see you in the chat. I've got to say that. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for that image. I will never forget that image of me
you're welcome
in the tea
to
house.
it. You're welcome to it. I plan on using it every time I tweet.
My daughter
out
loves
your
it, by the
things.
way. She absolutely loves it.
Because like I said, adorable man. I can't help myself. It's so true. It's like you have so much child in you still to this day. It's great. It's great to see. But I'm a big cheerleader. I'm a 50-plus-year-old cheerleader at this point. Everything I see on YouTube that I love, I just shout it out to the hilltops, and just a general shout out to the community at large and anybody who watches this on the replay. Let's have conversations about things that create joy in our lives. I get that we have to cover Kenobi. I get that we have to cover Wheel of Time. I get it. I mean, I get it. I get it. But it should almost be a sidebar to the joy that we experience, because this is intoxicating. What you just did tonight, Gray, it's intoxicating. The chat was completely on fire. There was a dozen-plus people in the chat just yelling at you, and we were just like, that's it. He's a lost cause. Just let him go. Just let him go.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you really need to go back to your live stream, and I still mean everything I sent. But it's like, it's true. Stephen Ransom nailed it. It's just like, we are so passionate, and when we talk about things that we love, it feels so good, right? They can never
Mhm.
take these things away from us, and they can try. But
It
that's the
does.
hill I'm going to die on. That's the hill
No, me
I'm
too,
gonna
mate. It's
die
good
on.
to focus on the positives, and it's good that more and more of us are doing that as well, to disprove the theory that we're all just like cloud shouters and negative. We got Zach's doing a great stream, focusing on what's good, what people are into. And we should do this more and more, shouldn't we?
Subscribe
Yeah.
to Zach's. Zach's, I was lucky enough to get to start working with him about 6 months ago, and he finally started to talk, and now he's on stream, and now he's got a killer Thursday show. It's absolutely true.
It's awesome.
And just to close out my little round and then pass it on to Salty and Blair, this is my second time being on a major live stream.
Wow.
I love joining it. Typing is not my first skill. I'm a conversationalist at heart, and I have always been. But
you're a cunning linguist. Is that what you're trying to say?
It is true. It is true, and that's why I love sushi. But I would love to do this more. Anybody that wants to give me a quick shout out, or a text, you could find me and DM me on Twitter. I'd love to join it. I've got a huge pile of memories back in the back of my head and can reference things up the wazoo, even without a specific title. But
Wow.
yeah, this was an absolute pleasure, Gray. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome, and thanks for joining me. I can't believe it's only your second time, Stephen.
Yeah.
It's time to start a channel, just saying.
Thank you. I was going to say the same thing, Ray. Like Stephen Ransom, I'm on Twitter. Hit me, brother. I'll help you out any way I can.
Thank you.
Okay, Blair, thanks for coming on and thanks for your input. And yes, your enthusiasm was catching as well, mate. It's great to stream with you again. It's been a while, so where can people find you?
Nowhere right now. I kind of had to pull out of YouTube. Real world takes precedence.
Sorry to hear that. Okay.
So-
Sorry to hear that, bro.
But I kind of disappeared on everybody. But I watched some stuff. But then I saw this, and I'm like, I've got to be on this. I got to talk. I got to chat. We're talking Bladerunner, my favorite movie all time.
Yes.
And like you said, when we finally talk about something we really love, well, turn it into little kids. We get real excited. And yeah, we're not all a bunch of doomsayers, and we like our stuff, and we just don't like it being fucked with. So.
Oh, exactly, mate. Wise words. And it's great, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with like gushing and turning into little kids and like raving about something you love, is there? I don't care.
No, it's great.
I don't care what
It's
people
great.
say. I love it. Thanks, Blair. Okay, last but not least, it's Salty, Texas Sea.
Can I just say what an honor it is to speak with all of you guys. And I know it's a sausage party, but whatever, right? I mean, Roman of the Empire, dude, like, I really want to work with you. Stephen Ransom, I really want to work with you. Blair to Blair, let's work together. You guys, I'm a small and up and coming channel too. I'm like a biscuit away from 2,500 subscribers. I'm nobody, but I am so honored to get to work with you guys. And Gray, dude, you drew me in for your first hour, and I've said this to you so many times, right? And not always on camera, but
Let's
you
get
are
married.
No, shut up, Victor. God, you're such a dick, Gray. Anyway, but you are.
That's why we're getting married.
You are. Shut up. But you are such a great creator, dude, and you have such great takes, and you are such an important voice in this. It's a fellowship, but it's more than that. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm just going to say, I really appreciate you for who you are. And tonight, watching you run with this, like Steven said, like Blair to Blair said, like Roman of the Empire said, watching you become childlike, that's all we want from our entertainment.
Yep.
We want it to move us. And again, like, the entertainment seems to be deliberately constructed current year to not do that. And if they're not going to do it, let's go back to the old stuff. Let's educate people, not in the SJW way, but let's show them that we are not hate-filled people. We have big hearts. We're truly human. We love what we love. And if you want to hang out with us as nerds, we will talk your ear off about what we love. But if it's garbage, we we are going to be the first ones to call it out. And I
Yep.
think this is really important what we did tonight. So thank you, Greg.
Thank you,
Oh
Greg.
yeah, and I have a channel on Salty Texas Sea. I do a live stream every Tuesday with Maxfield Von Priestley, Purple Valkyrie, the one and only Zax, and occasionally when Gray has wants to hang out, we have him too.
Yeah.
This Thursday, we're going to bring on. I want to start bringing on other creators, and we're going to talk about what we love, but we're also going to talk about why we don't like things and say how we're going to fix it. If it's one thing the Critical Drinker has absolutely brilliantly done, it is to not just talk about why we don't like it, but how it could be good if they just made changes.
This is it. Exactly, Salty. Wise words indeed. And yeah, instead of just like shouting and screaming, like offer solutions, offer ways to make things better. You know, how can we fix this? Okay, guys, gentlemen, ladies. Oh, sorry, no ladies. What a shame. Purple, I know you're still
Purple's here.
out there.
Purple's here. Yeah.
You
Ladies,
assume
you
our
said-
gender, sir.
I'm going to pull a flaccid on you. How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah,
I'm not on camera. How dare you?
Sorry about
That's
that.
that's
Ray,
like me
one-
looking at female orcs. That's me and female orcs right now.
No, God.
One last thing before I go, before you kick us all out of here, because yes, sausage party, and it's late over there. I think we should allow you to re-immerse us in the expression bonsai, because that is what you do. At the end of your show, your arms should be up in the air, just shouting "Bonsai, Daniel-san! Bonsai!" You know, go for
Bonsai,
it.
Daniel-san!
Go for it. Just go for it.
Do you know what it actually means officially? It's supposed to be 10,000 years. That's how it translates.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
10,000 years. It's like, 10,000 years for the emperor. Crazy.
Yeah, just don't attack Pearl Harbor again. Not do that.
That's like tentacles in hentai. It's like it shouldn't mean that anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
We had to go there. Okay.
Tentacle porn. That's how we're going to end the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to drop the closer, and then if you want to hang out briefly after we finished in the chat, please don't go
man.
anywhere.
Yeah, man. Subscribe to the one and only Wakizashi's Tea House. I think
Absolutely.
I said it right. Gray is
Wishy-washy.
a-
Wishy-washy's tea house.
Oh,
Wakizashi's tea house. Please subscribe.